Okay, we are live here for another episode of Choose Your Path with me, your host, Sharontel Durskell. That is all I'm going to say today. I am so excited. I am bringing on an amazing, really great guest today. Oh, you guys are ready, I see. Thank you so much for coming because we changed the time. I am bringing on Leon Timbo. Oh my God, ladies and gents. He is a musical renaissance in my eyes for sure. Music revolutionary, a thinker, podcaster, singer, songwriter, all of those amazing things. And I'm so looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Blessed Lady Pierce, hello. Sylvia Cronin on. The crown is on. Hello, hello, Queen. Hey, what's going on? Are we ready? Hi, Brenda. Let's bring on our guest here. How do I? All of these updates. So, Leon, request to join my live, I believe, because I don't see it popping up on the button here. Oh, here it goes. I found it. And hey, Sal, I see you. Okay, yep, I see it. There it is. All
We
right,
made it.
perfect.
We made it. We made it.
We made it. I
Yeah.
know it was some technical stuff going on, and then you had to update and all these crazy
Come
updates.
on, man. Absolutely.
Come on with it with the technology. So we are here. I'm so happy that you said yes. Like, thank you. I want to just start there. Like, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Wow.
We've been trying to get this thing done since the top of the year, and you've had some
hmm
amazing guests on. So I'm grateful that I get to join in the fray.
Thank you so much. I'm happy that you can join in. This has been you don't know, but this has definitely probably been years in the making because I've been definitely following your music for some time. So
Wow.
I'm so
Wow.
happy. Yes. 10K cards, hello. So let's get started here. Choose your path. I'll start there.
Yes.
Choose your path came about during the beginning of the summer because all of my events were canceled, and I did for 2 weeks. I kind of mentally had a whole breakdown because I'm
I
like,
get it.
what the heck am I supposed to do? I really did. I had a whole break. I cried. I was doing a lot. I felt
Yeah.
bad,
Yeah. I get
right?
it. Hmm.
And then I felt like God gave me this idea to just
Hmm.
come on live and say, hey, what's up? How are you guys doing? Checking in on my friends and stuff, live in front
Sure.
of my social media friends here. And then it really turned into a thing. And
Hmm.
I say it
Hmm.
turned into a thing because I've been,
Yes, it did.
consistently doing it. Yeah. So I put out a press release. I'm like, I'm going to be done in December. And my
Hmm.
sponsor at the show, he was laughing. He was like, ha ha, okay. And that's what God does. You have all these plans, right?
Right.
And
Exactly.
he has another plan. So I'm grateful for his plan. So here we are. Choose your path. I hope that people are inspired by these conversations. I hope that they go out and create and do something amazing for the people. And if they're not in a space of creating, because we all can find ourselves in different times and space, right?
Hmm.
If it's time to heal, then heal,
Then
whatever that may
heal.
be.
Absolutely.
Yes, heal.
Absolutely. We
So
make we
that's
make
that's the
we
point.
make the healing part very like it's downtime when in fact it's probably more important to heal than it is to produce because your production um, the height and the depth of your production comes from the well of your healing. And so if you don't give yourself time to heal, you don't give yourself time to create a well, then you have no foundation to build from. So it is imperative
None.
that we give ourselves that time. And I'm happy you give yourself that time. Listen, I'm giving myself that time too. So we all
Are
in it
you giving
together.
yourself that time?
Come on, it's necessary. You know, the funny thing is, we talk a lot about the mountains, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not until we're in the valleys that the vegetation grows. So we sometimes look down on the valleys and we assume, well, let me wait to get to some accomplishment, not realizing that down in the valley is when we build who we really are and see what we're really choosing to do and go. So yeah, man, that triggered something in me. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I wanted, that's what this is about. So that's why when you were like, I'm like, this is really like unscripted conversation about, I'm going to definitely talk about your path in music for sure.
Sure,
But
sure,
I just
absolutely.
like to just have a conversation. I want this space to be where people can have not only that connection with the gifts and the talents that we've been gifted by God, but
Hmm.
also to connect as a human, as human beings. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
it's a really good thing to do that. So that's important. So I want to ask you, like, how have you been doing during this pandemic, and what was your biggest lesson that you learned,
The
if
biggest,
any?
sheesh, many. I think if I'm honest, I've learned many lessons during this pandemic. The one lesson that I did, I guess I would want to say first is that people can't define you as much as you can define you. So people can call you any and everything they want to call you, but it's not until you accept what they're calling that you then become it. And so I learned that I'm not what they call me. I am who I'm becoming. And so it was
Mm.
during the pandemic, people were so used to me moving and traveling and showing up, and I had to find a way to redefine my gift. And I'm not talking
Oh.
about my music or my
Mm-hmm.
writing. I'm talking about I lead a group called Leon Timbo and Me, and it's a community tribal group of creatives and influencers. And one thing that we kind of coined in 2020 was you're the gift. The gift isn't something that comes from you. The gift isn't my singing. The gift isn't my guitar. I used to own a restaurant in Atlanta a couple of years ago. The gift isn't in me being a restaurateur. The gift was me, and how I articulated myself in the world was just that. And if it failed, it wasn't an indictment on the value of my gift. It was an indictment on how I presented my gift to the world. Sometimes you got to change that so that they can see it. But that's no indictment on the failure that I am. I'm perfect. God said I was perfect. So how am I going to articulate that perfection in the world? That's the key to our journey. And I'm excited. And that's what I learned in 2020.
Oh, wow, that's an amazing, that's an amazing lesson. Yes. Livra, she says the gift is in you. Yes, definitely the gift is in you. My biggest lesson that I learned was that I wasn't in control.
Yeah,
I really
absolutely.
do. I feel like I got it. Like just like us scheduling this, we were not in.
At all. Listen, I was on set and I did all my due diligence. I talked and I said, hey, listen, I got an interview, da 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 da. And the call time was, I'm like, are you serious? And I
Mm-mm.
reached out to you and you were like, okay, we're gonna do this. And I
Yeah.
think that shift is as much a part of God's plan, God, the universe, whatever plan to put us where we needed to be. We needed to be 7 o'clock tonight, and next time we'll be 6 o'clock again. But some things, some distractions are necessary, and when we take that perspective, life is a lot easier, and so
Hmm.
are our choices.
Yes, absolutely. For whatever reason, and we don't know that at this moment, but someone needed this at this time, so he has us here,
Indeed,
and
indeed.
I'm here for the calling. So what was the role of music in your early years of life?
Well, you got to understand, I'm a church boy. So I
Hmm.
grew up Kojic, Church of God in Christ. You can't join and you got to be born in. And I grew up singing in the Sunshine Band, but me and singing did not meet until my later teen years. And it was when I kind of asked God, I was like, Lord, because my father was tone deaf, and I grew up for most of my life tone deaf. Tone deaf is when you hear a song on the radio and when you sing it, it don't sound nothing like you hear it, but you're still happy inside.
Yes, I
And
get
the
it.
and the people around us are like, no, 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 you're not. And you're like, but I still feel this thing. That was me most of my life. And it wasn't until 17 that I prayed and I asked God. I was like, I don't see this in the Bible, but if you feel like doing it, Jesus, I would love a voice to sing. I want to sound a little bit like Luther. I want to sound like Marvin Winans. I was specific. Like if you're gonna ask a crazy prayer, you might as well be specific.
Right.
Like I want to be who I want a little bit of Luther. I don't want the glitter skinny Luther. I want the thick Luther
You want them.
that I want Luther. I want.
I grew up listening to him, so I know
So
exactly.
that's where it happened for me, and because my relationship built from a space of isolation and healing. Church was a representation of that relationship, but so was love music, so was relationship music, so was expressions about life and living and process and journeying. And so that's where it all birthed from. But I'm a church boy by heart, and my faith is in everything I do, whether it's spiritual or sexy or whatever. It comes from that same core value of if God hadn't seen me, I wouldn't be able to see me for you to know what I'm doing. So everything
Mm.
comes from that space. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I don't know why. See, Instagram, they do all these updates, right? And usually I'm able to put the picture up there somewhere to the side. But I wanted to talk about definitely like, do you feel that your family is more musical or artistic or
I,
both?
I feel like my family is more artistic. My daughters are super creative. One is an actress. She's 12. 11. She'll be 12 in June. She's an actress, and I have one that plays violin. She's an actress and a singer. She's a singer as well, and so that came from them. That just came from them. So I think artistic is what I would choose. Yeah.
You would choose artistic, okay. And how would you like when I listen to your music, I hear gospel, I hear a lot of soul,
Hmm.
R&B. How would you describe it? Like me from the outside, that's how I describe and I
I
feel,
am
but how would you describe it?
I am a storyteller. I'm a storyteller. I think my music tells the story of life, and at times that life is very spiritual, and it talks about things we can't see, love and wanting to be better and wanting to become. And at times it's isolating, and it talks about depression and the process of seeing the best version of you. And I believe worship specifically is both our relationship to God, but it's also our relationship to each other. When Scripture speaks of the strongest commandments, when Jesus was asked, right? Um, hey, Rabbi, out of all these commandments, yo, which one is popping? Which one is the one? And he knew they were tripping him up. And funny thing, before the pandemic, I would tell this story in clubs, and people would be like, with a Long Island iced tea, like, yeah, you're right, that is in the Bible. But
Right.
my story is, uh, he said, what's the greatest commandment? And he said, to love God with all your heart. And then he said, the second, to love your neighbor as yourself. But he said, the second is like the first. And I think sometimes being church people, we feel we miss that the second is like the first. Loving God and loving people are synonymous. And that's a hard pill to swallow because it requires us not just to be nice to a God that we can't see, but to be nice to people that piss us off. And that process needs a musical, creative expression to
Oh,
soundtrack and to make room for it. And so that's what I am, and that's what I do.
I absolutely love that. I was on Clubhouse the other day and I asked the question of just for one split second and no longer than that, imagine the world right now without music. Like just I can't even like I don't even think I would be able to like breathe, to be
No,
honest with you. Like
no.
it it's so deep.
Yeah.
I for 15 years I worked as an EMT, so everything was based on these ziggly lines up and down, the rhythms. Life is on a
Yeah,
rhythm, you
yeah.
know. And music brings that frequency, that energy, that vibration that we need, and it affects us in more ways than we ever even want sometimes to admit to. So it's really important. You got to really. I was talking to some producers a couple weeks ago, and I said, "You guys got an important job here." Like, you
It's
know.
around us. It's all around us. Music is, I remember as a kid, we would stay by the railroad tracks. And I remember this was prior to cell phones, I remember sitting and listening to the rhythm of the railroad tracks. And to that rhythm, I would find beat. Oftentimes, when I hear drops of rain, when I hear little nuances of things that are systematic, I begin to hear music in that space. And not only is your heartbeat in rhythm, but how you respond. I think everything comes from a sound wave. Every
Hmm.
living creature comes from a sound wave, and when you think about that, the sun's rays are sound waves, and music. Babies crying, that's sound wave. So a life without music isn't a life at all.
Mm-mm, not at all. And love is so important. Like I love that you spoke about loving God and loving people. I had Anthony Hamilton on some conversations back, and we talked about like how important love is. Like that's what we need. Like that's all we need right now. Like we can come up with a long list of things, but right now, really, all we need is love. So,
Absolutely.
hmm. Let's see. I think we got a question here.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, or maybe not. Maybe they're giving us a perfectly underscore flawed. She says music heals things medicine never could.
Never could. Absolutely. And I want to
That's what she said.
I want to stab there about love briefly. There's a book that I
Mm-hmm.
read, and it said, where love is absent, rules are necessary. And so the reality is, a lot of these rules, treat people nice, treat people right, do this, do that, is really in place because of the fact that love is absent. And so I do concur with what you were saying.
Yeah, I do too. My grandmother raised me, so I do sit here with coffee because that's what we used to do. We would have the conversations with our coffee.
Come
And
on, come on.
my mom didn't raise me, and for a long time I had carried this resentment, you know and it's like one thing I learned about my grandmother with love is love is so unconditional. It doesn't have all of these expectations and all of these well, if you don't do this or if you don't show up to this and all of that. And when I was able to like love her from who she is and not my picture of what I thought she should be, then it felt like God just rained down the blessings. I feel like he had them on hold. I'm gonna hold this until my
Yeah,
daughter gets this, and when she get it,
this is so
then
good.
I will get what I have for her. Yeah. So I think that is important, and I love to listen to your music. And today I listened to a couple songs, but one in particular, I lean not on my own understanding. I needed that
Yes.
today. Yeah, because
Yeah,
we tend
I
to
mean,
do that, you know.
have to figure it out. If it's not the way we planned it, it's not going to be successful. The reality is we can't control time. We can't control the day. We can't control the result of the choices. We can only control our action, but we can't control what the wind does to our actions. We can't control
Mm,
what the rain does to our actions. We can't control what the temperature does to our actions. We can only pursue. That's why in Romans it doesn't say for you to do anything specifically. Romans 12 says, present yourself as a living opportunity to be used, as a living sacrifice to be served. It doesn't say dot this I, cross this T. It says present. That's your only job, to present the
that's it.
best version of you. And when you realize you don't have control of anything or anyone else but your presentation, then you tend to leave the rest up to God.
Tell me about this guy here, because this is how I was introduced to your music, right? I'm gonna just put that right there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Come on, come on.
Come
That's my
on
bro.
with
That's my
it.
bro.
That's family right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've said the story a few times. So if y'all have heard it, I'm sorry. We're gonna hit it again.
No, we
The
gotta hear it again.
I was on tour, and the final day it was kind of a hybrid tour is what we called it, where we would do clubs on Saturday and churches on Sunday, and it was kind of a balanced thing. And the last date was in Dallas at the Potter's House. Why not, commemorate everything, you know, at the Potter's House? So we do that. We're about to go home, and he's in the audience. Tyrese is in the audience, and he's there to meet with Bishop Jakes. And in the process, He sees myself and my team one stage and comes backstage and says, I got a show at the House of Blues. I don't know what it's going to take, but I really want you to open up because whatever happened here, I want to happen here. And so from there,
Mm.
we had no money or no to prepare for that kind of switch, but opportunities of a lifetime happen in the lifetime of that opportunity. And so we realized that God was doing something we did not plan for, and we responded to it. And I not only found an opportunity, but I found a brother. Most of most of my understanding of R&B commercial culture came from that relationship, and that's how I was accurately able to balance the two because of a lot of life conversations. What took you so long? That song came from a life conversation. Don't Call came from a life conversation, and so wherever he's at, however he's doing, we always stay in contact. And if I never take a picture with him, it doesn't matter. I'm still on the couch talking. It's just you leave celebrity culture and you build relationships. When it's all over, we'll still be there. That's how I feel about it.
That is absolutely amazing. No, sometimes it's important to, go back and share those stories because, like, along the way, was introduced to your music. Someone here may be the first time they're listening to you and saying, who is this Leon Timbo guy? So it's nice to be able to go back and, even though some have probably heard that
Sure,
story, it's nice
sure.
to go back and tell that. Wow. Absolutely love Bishop Jakes. Absolutely love him, right? He is
Dope.
like, yeah, I've been listening to him for years and taking notes. And it's just the way that he tells it. He tells it in such a way where it doesn't feel like he's throwing across at me. You understand what I'm
No,
saying?
absolutely. And
You
Bishop,
understand what I'm saying? He's amazing.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Charleston, West Virginia is a small city to build such a giant from. And
Hmm.
Bishop Jakes is is an example of when your future is the path of your choices and the uncomfortable path of your choices being made. There are way more failures than successes in Bishop Jake's life, per his confession. And but the successes, I remember him preaching one time and he told the crowd, you like what I'm saying? Everybody, thousands, yeah, yeah, yeah. Are you sure you like what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, yeah. He said, this sucks. You should hear it the way it's in my head. And he
Mm.
makes that statement to say, I'm still not what I feel I can become. And that's something for us to take for ourselves.
We're constantly evolving and becoming, right? I
Yeah.
love him. So this picture here, I was able to share the stage with him, right? I'm just
Come
sharing a little bit.
on.
Yeah. I was able to share the stage with him on the
Hmm.
Dr. Oz show. But one of the my biggest takeaways is that to surround myself with people who would feed into me and not just need me, because eventually we're all limited resources. As amazing as
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
that we are, we still a limited resource. And
Absolutely.
so I took that away. But I say this to say, fast forward, I was watching a sermon literally on a Sunday, and then I got a message from Tyrese. And I said, wow, this is wild. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
and then I was able to, be work on a project and help Tyrese on this project. And that was years ago. And I'm
So
so grateful
good.
for that brother. He is such a great man. Tyrese, and both Bishop Jakes and Tyrese, but I'm talking about Tyrese right now. Like, he has helped me so much with believing that I can do what I can do, and I'm like, you think I could do this? I'm going on the Steve Harvey show. You got this,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
being
yeah.
available even with his schedule, like, it's been times where he was in Iceland and he messaged me back and he never made me feel like he was too busy. So
He's
he's a
he's
good guy.
definitely that guy. And a lot of people,
Yeah.
if I could say anything, it would be that
I'm giving him his
his
roses.
his vibration, the vibration of that man's life, is a lot more than people would ever realize. He celebrates hard, he loves hard, and
Yes.
he hurts big. And so I'll take a bullet for him. He's such a good guy.
He's a good guy. Tell me about some of the things that you enjoy most about being a musician.
I enjoyed the ability to to hear something I've never heard before and to create a reality that didn't exist before. The idea of going into a studio or going into a place to write a script or write a song or create, the fact that prior to that experience, it had never existed before. And so I think it's one of those things, not the only thing, but one of those things that keeps us closer to the Creator. It keeps us closer to God because it gives us the ability to create from nothing, create from what's in us. And that's what I love most about music. But by the time the Grammys or the accolades or those things come, we've already gone to something else. It's almost
You're
like
in another dimension.
when we see a star, for instance, by the time we see the star,
Yeah.
that star is no longer in that spot anymore. By the time you see even some of the songs we sing, by the time you hear it and love it, we've shifted to another position in life. And the beauty of it is that you can veer where we left. And so yeah, that's what I love most about music.
I love that. I just want to say hello to a couple people because I love to
Please.
shout out people. Hello, Marcus Small 7. Hello, Bots World Studios. He's a three-time Grammy nominated
Woo,
producer. I'm going to call him an artist. That's my guy right there.
come on.
Bots World. I don't even know who we probably missed because it has been growing since we've been on here.
Come
How
on.
amazing is that?
That's
Thank you,
dope.
everyone, for being on here. I really sincerely appreciate you all.
Come on, guys.
Wow. How do you balance like traveling
I don't.
a lot?
I
Like how do you
absolutely, I
you haven't
absolutely
gotten
do
there? What
not
is that?
balance. I think I heard it articulated a lot better. I think there is a rhythm to life. There's a rhythm to moving and working. A lot of times we tend to take on the language of if we balance this properly, there's no
Mm-hmm.
such thing. The reality is there's a rhythm to love. There's a rhythm to rest. There's a rhythm to move. There's a rhythm to stop. And when you fall in line with that rhythm, you tend to kind of hear his music again. When you fall in love, I sometimes I may be away from my daughters for 3 weeks, and then I'm there with them for an entire week and a half, another 2 weeks. And so when you talk about balance, are you talking about time? How much time? Are you talking about the quality of time, the
Quality.
availability of time? So the so the
Mm-hmm.
so the rhythm of that thing may not seem balanced, but it's right because we're in rhythm. There's an understanding. There's communication. We're moving together. That's what it is. So
Oh, that
I
is so
balance
good.
nothing. I balance nothing, but there's a rhythm that I'm moving with.
That is so good. I spoke with Anthony Hamilton's son a couple times. He's been on, and there was one thing that he had mentioned, like his dad being on the road a lot, and how
Wow.
they didn't have like a lot of time, but the time that they did spend, it didn't even feel like he was away, and he understood what his purpose was and what God had him on this earth to do. So that means a lot. So I wanted to
So
ask you
good.
that because I realized that you got three daughters.
I do. I do. Three,
Wow.
and the two. I know. I dyed my beard really well, so it's real. It's nice and black. But those
Uh-huh.
grays try to sneak out every now and then.
They
I got
they
I got
try.
I
They
got to deal with
try.
it. But yeah, I have daughters that in their 20s. Yeah.
Wow, me
So
too. I got
then you
I got
know.
a daughter.
Then you know how
I
we
got
do.
a daughter. Yeah, she's gonna be 25 this year.
That's
And I
how it
was
goes.
listening to your song "Love Should Not Hurt," and I heard you talk
Mm,
about explaining that what that is to your daughter, and that means so much. Like I miss my dad so much. I really need him. It's a very important relationship because your dad is able to talk to you about those things. I am a survivor of domestic violence, and love should definitely not hurt.
love's not
So,
supposed to
what
hurt.
was the inspiration behind that song? I know
You
I'm like
know, it,
all
it
over,
no,
but
it's fine. The inspiration behind Love's Not Supposed to Hurt is essentially in the home, in my home, there were some tensions that I could not explain. There are some
hmm
tensions that I could not protect them from, without being specific and detailed. A lot of those tensions happened because of me, but the reality is they didn't deserve it. They didn't deserve those
hmm
spaces, and so it was my letter to my daughters to say, love is never supposed to hurt. Pain hurts, and you are to love through pain, but the core of love is like it's like this bottle of water here. Sometimes we dilute it with Kool-Aid and it tastes better, but there's something about the purity of when it's authentic and organic, and the love that I have for you, you never have to do anything for. So me writing that to them, apologizing for the tension, but
Hmm.
becoming available for the healing is, I think, the story behind Love's Not Supposed to Hurt. And forgive me, I'm on set, so if you hear some voices, that's what's going on. It's me. I'm
No, that's
sure you're
fine.
good and quiet.
No, you're working. Yeah, I
Okay,
know
okay.
you. I know that would be crazy if that was. I had some noise going on over here. Like, sit down.
Sit up.
Sit down. You ever talk to people with kids and you're on the phone? They're like, hold on a minute. You're like, yeah, and be like, you want to call me back?
You good? You
You want
busy?
to?
No, 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 no. He just fell on the floor and hurt himself. So he fine. He fine.
Right. Right, exactly. Oh my gosh. So you I didn't see that on your list of things. You're an actor too?
Oh, ma'am. So we are
I know, I'm
doing
trying
a bit
to
of we're doing some stuff. You know, I
uh,
I try to move quietly. So
some stay tuned, some
stay
stay
tuned.
tuned stuff.
Some stay tuned dizzles. Hmm.
What do you not to go like so negative, but what do you think is the biggest problem that you have encountered in your journey of music?
You know, the being transparent. Shout out to all my Asian brothers and sisters. The tragedy that they've endured
Yeah.
is something to be spoken out on. And on funny thing is, the black experience, the African American experience, is far too familiar with that plight. And so, as an artist, whether it's been in churches or in clubs, the reality is systemically there's been a lot of I'm a black guy with a guitar. And so there's been some resistance concerning the industry and the availability of opportunity for through the system. Like there's
Yes, of
thank
course.
thank God for the internet. Thank God for opportunities that
Hmm.
are around the mainstream system, and so it sometimes can be distracting to an artist who writes from their heart. The system of systemic um, involvement, I'll say it that way, that
I
really
like that.
pushes those clear, pure art people into the fringes, and that's probably been my greatest resistance, but it's also been my greatest becoming. Um, there's a lot of people now that are able to do things that I wasn't able to do when I first began, and I'm proud of that. And so, likewise, there's a lot of things I'm able to do that my predecessors, your Sam Cooks, your Ray Charles, wasn't able to do.
Hmm.
And so, that's probably been the biggest resistance, that I needed to prove my worth before I played a song.
Yeah, someone says perspective. Dr.
Absolutely.
Matasha Harris says
Absolutely. She's a
perspective.
part of the tribe.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
She
that.
is. Okay, then. Hello to the tribe. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure that we pay attention to the time because you do have to go back on you do have to go back on set. Can you take me through a little bit of what your creative process looks like?
You know, it varies depending on the bottom line, depending on the goal. At times, the creative process comes in life. You know, if I'm riding on the road or during the pandemic, I bought a coach, I bought an RV. And so I drove back and forth about 6 times between Atlanta and LA. And in that process, I've written songs, or I've said it this way, songs have written themselves, and I've been quiet enough to hear them. And so
Uh-huh.
that's a creative process. Another creative process is when I'm with other creators, and we tend to have conversations and build narratives based on the conversations and their genius, you know. And so it's in kind of it's not all with them, it's not all with me. It's in the middle of me acknowledging their genius and them acknowledging mine. That something beautiful is created. And so, yeah, that they vary. They vary. We having the creative process right now.
Right, right now, right at this moment. I just gonna take a second. I didn't get a chance to send it to you, but once we get off, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
This, I have a sponsor. This is a digital business card, so you have your own QR code. You see that there?
Oh, come
See,
on.
normally I could put it on the phone, but I don't know.
Come
They
on. You go
updated
on and
it and
put
they
it
took
up
it
there. I
away.
got me a
Yeah.
QR code.
So, yep, that's your QR code. So when you scan it, and when you take a look, I'll send you the link. Take a look and make sure that all of
Sure.
everything is everything, right? And
Come
basically,
on.
I can find your music, your websites, and all of that stuff right in one place. And the
Love it.
cool thing about it, I had spoken in Brooklyn a couple weeks ago, and I was able to just send my card, airdrop it.
Come
Yeah,
on. So
we don't even
anytime you
need
just throw
to
it up.
no physical nothing. Like you can airdrop. You can be like, hey, you need my handle? And then you can be like, yeah.
It's right
You
there.
gotta, yeah, you can just send it
Just send
from
it to me like,
literally
you're
your
welcome.
device.
You're
Yes, you
welcome.
can have 20 people in the room and everybody can get your card and you've
I
never
love it.
even passed hands or anything, especially with this time. We're
I
literally
need that.
moving into this digital world. So that's
Hmm.
my gift to you and my sponsor, 10K Cards. He was on here earlier. I'm not sure if he's still
Thank you.
here. If he's, yeah. So thank you to 10K Cards for
Thank you,
that amazing
10K.
gift. I'm so happy that I'm able to give a gift every time when I come on live.
Leon's
It's so
grateful.
dope.
Leon's grateful.
Yes. Thank you guys for coming in. I really appreciate everyone here. So I have three more questions
Okay.
and then you
Okay.
can get back on set.
All right.
What's your plans for the upcoming months? What you got,
Mm-hmm.
like music wise?
Well,
What we got?
we're doing a short film right now. I'm working
Okay.
on two albums, an Americana album, and there's a worship album with a worship collective. My friends that I'm really grateful for, people who are just good worship leaders from around the country. And the Americana space is kind of new to me because I've kind of dug my teeth into R&B and songwritten. The Americana space allows me to be more of a storyteller, more of a
Hmm.
just pace myself and kind of sit people down and kind of tell them life and be honest and transparent. And I still can be a little sexy when I want to, and I can be all things Leon Timbo. So that's what's coming up in the next
Okay.
year, and I'm excited about it. So y'all
I'm
and Lee.
excited for
Oh,
you.
I got to put Leon Timbo and me. I jump on every Friday at 3 o'clock.
Hmm.
It's on Instagram and it's on Facebook. We go live, and we just inspire creatives. And so I can't wait to share you. I mean, I've already shared you with them, but I can't wait to tell them how moved I was by this interview.
Uh,
It's been great.
come on, Leon, Timbo, and me.
Come on, y'all. Let's go. Let's go.
Exactly. So you do it on Instagram and Facebook?
You got it. You got it.
Okay. All right. I'll have to check it out. All right. That sounds fun. I love creating. I love to
It's
hear about
everything.
create. Yeah, I love to like listen to the creators. So that's going to be absolutely amazing. Any artistic collaborations possibly in the future? Maybe.
You
I
you
know they're
know
like don't leave.
I'm no, I'm saving. I'm saving. I got a few down the pipeline with some artists that are in the UK that I'm really excited about announcing, but I'm gonna pause for now. Just stay
Okay.
close. It's
Let's
it's gonna be dope.
we just gotta like stay tuned.
Woo! It's gonna be
Because you got
crazy.
some stuff in the works. Okay. Every show, right? I think I tapped on anything. Do you got anything else you want to add before I ask this last question?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm
All
excited.
right, cool. All right, cool. So the last question I ask every show is if you could give one word or a sentence of motivation, something that you can give us to help us as we continue to move forward on this life journey. You could take a moment and think about it.
I think it's about pain. It's about how we define pain. A person with a problem but no pain to identify it by is a person most dangerous to themselves. And I believe that it's how we define pain in our lives that doesn't give us an opportunity to heal. Pain identifies where we're weak. Pain protects that area of our lives that needs to be protected while we're healing. Pain identifies what we need to focus on. And oftentimes, I don't know of any enemy that's willing to show me where I'm weak. I don't know of any enemy that's willing to protect me when I'm worn out. And so pain gives us permission to see the parts of us that we need to develop. So don't downplay pain and don't run away from it. Try to learn what it's teaching us and grow from it and become what we need to be.
That's a word, right? That is a word. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I really am so grateful for you coming on and giving me, not only me, but the audience, your time
My
and
pleasure.
sharing your gift and some of your journey and your story. Thank you so much. Yes, Jay, she says, yes, pain make room for growing and healing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's all perspective, right? It's all about the
Yeah,
perspective. So all
absolutely.
the best as you can continue on the set. All the
Okay.
best with that love, light, and energy to you and your
Mm.
family as we continue on this journey. Thank
Thank
you.
you so
This
much.
is not the end. This is not it. Okay? All right.
Okay.
This is just the beginning. Take care. Bye
Take care.
bye.
Bye, guys.